So before I start, I like to gather all of the supplies that I'm going to use to decorate my planner. So that includes stickers, washi tape. I go through my collection of scrapbook paper and I pick out any paper that I may want to use for that layout that day. And I also use some scissors, some glue if I'm using scrapbook paper, and a cutter to cut the paper to size. So to start off decorating, I like to place down my backgrounds first. And I like to make sure that the backgrounds are balanced on my layout so that the entire layout looks balanced with the different colors that I'm using. When you're cutting the squares that you're going to use on your background, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can just cover it up with your border at the top later on if it overlaps with that. And I love the colors teal, red, and white together, so I decided to do a peppermint theme with a splash of teal. So when I was picking out my scrapbook papers, I used those colors for inspiration. As I'm laying down the backgrounds, I'm keeping in mind which days are going to be the busiest. So for example, in this week, my Thursday and Friday days are not going to be as busy, so I was able to put these down in the to-do section. And on this Tuesday morning, I was able to put a design down because it wasn't as busy as the other days in the week as far as scheduled items. So as I was saying, I like to keep the busy days lighter colors so I'm able to write more. And I place my to-do checklist in the center as you see here. And then I'm also going to be adding these colored dots for checklists in the other days. So on the bottom section of the planner layout, I like to usually put some sort of border, and sometimes I'll put down the hydrate vitamin stickers down here. But because Christmas is coming up, I'm going to use these countdown stickers at the bottom of my page. And if I cut my scrapbook paper too large, I go back over it with some scissors and clip off the excess so that it is flush with the Happy Planner page. Now I'm going to go ahead and add those countdown stickers that I was talking about. After I have my backgrounds laid down, I like to add my section headers. And the reason why I add these after I add my backgrounds is because if I'm using scrapbook paper, I don't always cut the rectangles perfectly, so I want to make sure my background isn't covering up the header section. And I like to lay down some washi tape or some scrapbook paper to act as backgrounds of my headers sometimes. So for example, I took some scrapbook paper to use as the background for this header, and then I covered it in a sticker. And I like to layer it like that to add interest to the page. And as as you'll see, I often cut off the edges to make it look like a little banner. And I just do that because I think it looks cuter. So for example, for this header up here, I'm just going to be using this sticker. Sometimes it can be fun to add color to your dates. So for this layout, I will be adding a candy cane frame to my dates to make them pop, and of course a weekend banner. And as you can see, I decided to add these after I added my headers or my header tabs because I wanted them to overlap with the top header. So to make these frames, it was really simple. All I did was I took this scrapbook paper, and as you can see, I cut out one of these circles, and then I cut out a circle within that circle in order to frame the numbers. So I'm actually adding another banner behind my weekend sticker in order to add more interest and color to the top right of the layout, and also to try to balance the colors I'm going to be adding on this page later on. And I also like to add a bar on this side because it's just a way to add more color to your page without actually taking away from the content of the page. I really like using scrapbook paper because you can add a lot of different patterns onto your layout, but it can get annoying because the glue doesn't always stick, and stickers always seem to work out better if you have the right patterns for your layout than scrapbook paper. Sidebars are a great way to add color and motivational quotes to your layout. I typically like to fill this space on the left side with layers of scrapbook paper and washi tape. And then I'm going to add this additional checklist on the side. So for this checklist, you can use it for things like chores or shopping lists or any additional things that apply to possibly the week as a whole. And this checklist was just a sticker, this teal blue sticker that I put onto the scrapbook paper that you see here and here. And I'm also going to be using this sticker, which I got from Target, and I really like it because it's sparkly and it has a Christmas themed saying on it. So I thought it would go well with this layout. I also like to add a card to the layout to add more layers and textures. So for this card in the back, I added scrapbook paper to and punched holes in. And this card was, I believe, a Mambi card that I also punched holes into. And then I'm going to be adding another of these stickers for Target to the top of this Mambi card. And on the backs of these cards, I like to put post-it notes. So here you can write things like your shopping list. What's good about these is that you can just pull it off right before you go to the store and take it with you. And it's a great way to add additional space to your planner. And then at this point, I will add some additional stickers to the layout. So for example, this header didn't go all the way to the edge, so I'm going to want to add a sticker to cover that up. And I also like to use these bill due stickers to track when my bills are due. So for example, I have an electricity bill due on the 12th. So I will add it to my health and home category. And I also like to check off this paid box once it's actually paid, and then sometimes write down the date that the bill is paid on so that I know that it's paid for sure. I did some additional stickers in my home and health section to help me track the things that I need to do during the week. So on Thursday I want to do a crock pot meal, so I added this sticker here. I have a credit card bill due on Friday and the electricity bill due on Saturday. And then I usually like to do my planning on Saturday, so I added this here. And it's important to try to keep these 3 sections separate from each other in order to keep your planner organized. So like I was saying, this is my home and health section, so I only put things that have to do with home or health here. And then for scheduled, on Friday, for example, I have a spin class at the gym at 5:30, and then going to church at 11 a.m. on Sunday, so I have a sticker for that. And the final touch for my layout, I usually like to add planner clips. So these are clay planner clips that I made. This one is peppermint bark, and this one is a candy cane. So I just think that these are little fun additions that you can add. And this is my layout. So I hope you enjoyed my peppermint themed December layout as much as I did creating it. So you can see more layouts that I've done on my Instagram at personalizemyplanner. Happy holidays and thanks for watching, everyone.